everyone, this is Sanis Sandy. I hope you're all fine. I am back with another English video today. And I am currently fighting with hay fever, so I hope that you don't really hear from my voice, because I think my voice feels a little different from usual. But that's just spring, finally spring is here. So today I want to share with you my techniques of how I learned kanji to pass the JLPT in 1. So as I already introduced in my previous video, I think most of the people, when they first see kanji, they think that this is something you might encounter in the Egyptian pyramids, like symbols you don't understand and you don't know how you can possibly understand them. But if you take a look at the first kanji being introduced to you by, I think, many of the kanji learning books, the first kanji are like 1, 2, and 3, consisting of 1 stroke, 2 strokes, and 3 strokes. There seems to be kind of a pattern here, but if you move to the number 4, it looks completely different. It's not that easy as you might think at first, but there is actually a way the kanji are constructed. And if you notice the way they are constructed, or if you can see how the kanji are put together, it's way easier to understand them or remember them. So my first example for this would be onsen. Everyone loves onsen, hot spring, best thing in the world. Unfortunately, we don't really have them here in Germany. This kanji consists of 2 characters. The first one meaning hot, which comes from the hot springs. So this one's easy. And actually the sen from onsen is put together with shiroi, so white, above water, mizu. So this simply says white fog above water. So you have hot water, and above hot water there's fog or steam. So there you have how the kanji onsen is put together. So this is pretty easy. It's like a pretty nice story to have yourself making like a bridge to remember it. The second one, which I also like to take as an example here, is suido, which is water pipe. You here have simply the kanji water, mizu, and the way for way, michi. So a waterway is a water pipe. And that's pretty exciting, isn't it? So what I want to say is that when you learn kanji and when you learn vocabulary, which is like put together with multiple characters, not just one, try to see which characters are being used to write that word and try to tell yourself a story to help yourself remember how this word is written. But not only with vocabulary which is put together with multiple characters, there's also a way to learn vocabulary which is using only a single character. So as an example for this, and I think this is like the most used example to describe this phenomenon, you first take the character for a tree, ki, and then you put another tree besides that tree. So you have 2 trees now, meaning hayashi, which is like a small forest. So a small forest consists of several trees, so not only 1 tree, but 2 trees or more. And then you take another tree and put that to the hayashi, to the 2 trees already existing. Then you have the kanji for mori, which is like an inaccessible forest, like a big forest which is very dense. So there are kanji like that, which are pretty easy to remember, pretty fun to remember. So there's also another one, which is not the same, but it's pretty fun as well. And that's at least the way I remembered the kanji, is the kanji for medicine or drugs, kusuri. So this consists of the kanji for fun, tanoshii, or raku, and you simply put the character for grass above it, kusa, and you have grass which makes you funny, or grass that makes you more relaxed. So you have funny grass to make you feel better, and that's the kanji for medicine. And my last example for this would be ai, which is love, and there is a little heart in the middle, which is pretty cute. So with these few minutes, you already learned 10 kanji which are like pretty easy to remember. So there are techniques behind learning the kanji. So by following these examples, you should be able to memorize hundreds of characters way easier. So the second step, which I'd like to introduce, is I think one of the most important ones. That is not to only read the kanji when you learn them or like when you repeat them, actually write them down. And not just once, twice, write them down like 5 times, 10 times in a row, that you have in the end notebooks full of kanji. You write them down every single time you repeat them. Even if it's just once, that's okay. Like if you have a kanji which you've learned for the 100th time and you think this is too easy, and when just instead of skipping through it, write them down at least once. This actually helps your brain to memorize the kanji way better. In the end, when I learned for the JLPT N1, I had notebooks full of kanji from the first page to the last page. No space in between, just kanji written out. Like my wrist hurt in the end. But this is actually helping you so much. Even Japanese, when they're students and they're in high school, they learn the kanji by writing them down, and it's their own language. But there's also a saying which is going like this. You remember 10% of what you read, 20% of what you hear, 30% of things you see, 50% of what you hear and see, 70% of what you explain to others, and 90% of things you actually use. So these numbers might not be too accurate, but this is simply showing that by using multiple senses, it makes it way easier for your brain to remember something. So try to use as many senses as possible. Do yourself a favor and write them down. So I want to share with you also the tools which I use to learn kanji. As I explained in my first video, I first used the kanji flashcards from White Rabbit Press. They look like this. And these kanji flashcards helped me a lot in the beginning. I then went to my next step, which is a software or even app, which is called Anki. So little side fact, Anki means to remember something, and even in the famous anime called Doraemon, which I really adore, there's also the secret tool called Ankipan, which means remembering bread, which simply works like this. You write something on that magical piece of bread Doraemon gives to you, you eat it, and then you remember it. That's pretty neat, isn't it? So with this software, you can either make your own kanji flashcards, or you can download pre-made kanji flashcards, and they even have flashcard sets specifically made for the JLPT, split by level N5 to N1. So that's pretty handy. By using this software, and I use this software a lot, you can go through the flashcards, and depending on how well you remember them, you can choose yourself if you want to have that card being repeated after 1 day, 1 week, or 1 month. I think that's the 3 time spans. It might be different, but that's how I remember it. By using this tool, having the card being repeated after a while, even if it's like after 1 month, it doesn't get lost. So you do repeat it after a certain time. And this prevents you from forgetting about kanji. And this is really, really important when you prepare for the JLPTs, because you don't know which kanji are being asked on the tests. So it would be nice to remember all of them. In university, as I already told you in my previous video, I had the Japanese major. We received spreadsheets made by our teachers, which based on the books Genki, which we used in class. And after that, when we were in Japan, we also received the spreadsheets from our teachers, from our sensei. They made them for us. I don't actually know where they got them from. We received them in paper, and I manually put them into Anki flashcards. So the last thing, and which is like even more important than writing the kanji down, is, as you might have already imagined, being patient and investing lots of time to learning the kanji. When I'm being asked by someone who hears that I can speak Japanese if I can also read and write Japanese, they're always super surprised and ask me, how did you learn it? And I'm like, well, I invested a lot of my time into learning it. And this is really a key factor. You need lots of patience and time. Writing them down, going through the flashcards, or whatever you use in the end. Flashcards was just the best thing for me. Learning like 10 new kanji a day, which adds up to 110 days, which is like a lot to repeat every single day. So the hours you spend to learn the kanji each day gets more and more. And in the end, you're like spending hours and hours just writing the kanji down to try not to forget them again and try to remembering them all. So time is a key factor. You need patience and time. And whatever you do, just don't stop learning them. If you stop once and if you take a longer break, you already start forgetting them. Even if you don't have the time to write them down in a day, just go through them if possible. Don't take longer breaks. Don't stop. Just continue. You're good. You're at it. You can do it. Just try to be consistent. And this is like the key to, I think, most of things in life, to not stop doing something, which is very, very difficult. No one said it was easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it. You will master it. You will master the kanji and you can pass the JLPTs. So this is only like how I personally learned the kanji. As I said before, I'm not a professional teacher. This is just my experience, which I'm sharing with you, and I hope that this helps you or gives you like a guidance on how to learn kanji better or how to remember them better. If you in the end find your own way, that's perfect. Do whatever works for you. Be proud of yourself that you're challenging yourself in mastering a new language and trying to take the JLPTs. You can do it. Ganbatte ne, and see you in the next video. またね。